Welcome to Chemical Guy's Detail Garage. Today we're going over the complete car care kit, and this is going to be great for detailing any kind of car inside and out, as well as from top to bottom. Starting with the wash process, you have Mr. Pink, which is great for gently removing any kind of abrasive particles off of the surface while enhancing gloss. And it also lays down a thick layer of suds which help to lubricate the surface, again preventing any kind of scratches and swirls. And then you want to also clean your wheels using Signature Series Wheel Cleaner, which again is great for any kind of wheel surface, whether you have OEM, chrome, painted surfaces. It gently removes that kind of brake dust, road grime, without scratching the finish. And then working your way around the vehicle, you have ways of further decontaminating the paintwork using an OG clay bar. This is great for your daily driven vehicles that haven't been detailed in a couple of years or that have that rough feeling to the paintwork. This extracts embedded contaminants from the paintwork to give you that super slick finish and also prep the surface for its next step, whether it's going to be polishing or any kind of coatings. Now, to remove those scratches and swirls in one step, we have VSS, which is a scratch and swirl remover, and this can be used with your machine polisher to remove those scratches and swirls and refine that finish for an ultimate gloss. And then you can lock in that shine using butter wet wax, which helps to repel any kind of harmful UV rays while also enhancing shine. Maintain gloss in between your car washes by using Speed Wipe, which is a quick detail spray that gently removes any kind of light dust, water spots, bird droppings, or anything else that lands on the surface, while also enhancing gloss and also magnifying your metallic flake. Now, protect your exterior and interior plastics, vinyl, and rubber using Silk Shine, which is a water-based dressing that helps to give you a deeper gloss, but more importantly, it's going to be repelling those harmful UV rays, while also making your exterior plastics last as long as possible. To begin, we're going to be working on the dirtiest area of the vehicle, which is going to be the wheels. And the reason for this is because as you drive, not only are you collecting road grime as well as anything that's on the road itself, but you're also getting brake dust from your vehicle, and that accumulates on the face of the wheel, and also if that's left on the surface, it'll start to deteriorate the finish of your painted and chrome wheels, and it also looks really nasty. So to begin, we're going to rinse it down to knock down the heavier stuff. And now, utilizing our Signature Series Wheel Cleaner, we're just going to spray the surface of the wheel and the tire. And this is great for removing old dressings, grease, tar, brake dust, and again, anything you accumulate as you drive. And we're also going to be using one of my favorite brushes, which is the green flag tip brush. The reason being because this is super soft, so it doesn't scratch any kind of wheel finish. It just helps to gently agitate the cleaner and carries off anything from the wheel surface. This way we have a freshly detailed wheel. Really easy to use. Starting from the top and working your way down. You can use a clockwise motion or counterclockwise motion. Cleaning the spokes as well as the face of the wheel. The foam really helps to lift off anything that's on the surface. Again, brake dust, any kind of grime. And like I said, you can also use it to remove any kind of dressing from the tire itself. Start from the top again, we'll work our way around. Cleaning away any kind of grease or dressings from the tire will not only make it look better, but this is going to make it easier for new dressings to bond to the surface and help it look its best for as long as possible. After completing the wheel cleaning process, we're moving on to the body of the vehicle. We're going to start by rinsing it down to again knock down the heavier stuff that clings to the surface, and also it's going to prevent any kind of further scratches and swirls. But also we're going to lubricate it with Mr. Pink, which again is great for laying down a fine blanket of suds that help to lift off any abrasive particles. So again, we're not scratching that surface, but it's also enhancing some shine as well as your metallic flake. So we also have two buckets set up here with a dirt trap in each, and this is going to further prevent any kind of grime from the vehicle returning back to the surface and potentially scratching it. And we're going to add just a little bit of soap to our wash bucket, as well as to our foam gun. The Torque Foam Blaster is great for laying down a fine blanket of suds that again help to lubricate our wash mitt so that we're not scratching the surface. It also cuts down on the wash time because it helps to let the soap dwell on the surface and give you the best cleaning power possible. Just reattach the top and gently stir the solution together. This way, as we pull on the trigger, it's going to properly aerate, creating that fine blanket of suds. And to pair with this, we're using our Chenille Microfiber Wash Mitt, which traps not only foam, but it also encapsulates the dirt and grime from the vehicle inside of the noodles here, and it carries it off of the surface for a scratch-free finish. So let's get started. Now after washing and drying the vehicle, we were able to thoroughly inspect the paintwork, and we can tell that it's got a light layer of contamination that are stuck in the pores of the paint. It gives it a rough look as well as a rough feel, which is why we're going to be using our OG clay bar to extract any of the embedded contaminants and simply spray a lubricant onto the surface as well as the clay bar. And we've already torn off a small piece and knead it into a patty because we want to have control and also maneuverability. So about 3 fingers worth is all you need. And we're going to start working back and forth. But the clay bar is absorbing and extracting the fallout, water spots, anything that lands on the surface and basically adheres to it. And this is a necessary step whether you're going to be polishing the vehicle or moving on to a ceramic coating or a combination of glaze sealant or wax. This way it has the best bond, or during the polishing process it's not causing any micro marring or pigtailing. And it's very simple to do that. It removes that really rough feel and that rough look, and it makes the paintwork feel nice and slick. So I'm going to continue the clay bar process, and then we can move on to the next step of removing any micro scratches and swirls, any holograms, as well as any kind of oxidation. Now that we've just completed the clay bar process, we've removed the embedded contaminants that were in the pores of the paint, giving it that rough feel as well as a rough look. And that was also blocking the surface from the next step, which could be polishing or applying a coating. And the reason being is that we want to remove all that before we do any kind of polishing, because again, it could scratch the surface or it's going to be grinding in that kind of contamination back into the paintwork, and we really don't want that. And also, if you're going to put any kind of coatings on, whether it's ceramic or a glaze sealant wax combination, you don't want to lock in that kind of grime. So it's important to remove all that before we move on to the next step of the detailing flowchart. But after we've clayed it, we saw that there's some light scratches in the surface of the paintwork, as well as some light staining that could be caused by water spots or something drying on the surface. So we're going to be using our VSS Scratch and Swirl Remover, which is an all-in-one polish that's great for refining the finish and giving you that mirror gloss. Now to help us today, we're going to be using our Torque 10 Effects with an orange Hexlogic pad. And this is a great combination for removing your scratches and swirls, whether you have moderate to light, as well as any kind of staining or oxidation in the paintwork, to give you again that mirror-like finish. And it's super easy to use. So what we're going to do is start by spreading it out and then breaking it down on the highest speed setting, and then we'll wipe off our used or spent polish and we can check our work. VSS did an amazing job of enhancing this already beautiful Acura, but now we want to make sure that we lock in all that hard work as well as magnify the metallic flake and lock in that shine. So we're going to be using butter wet wax, which is a carnauba wax that's safe for your painted surfaces, your headlights, your glass, to repel harmful UV rays while also enhancing gloss and adding some more shine. Now we're going to be using one of our foam applicator pads. This is the UFO Foam Applicator. We're just going to start by applying a couple of dots to the applicator pad and spreading it out in small dabs. And then we're just going to work it back and forth using a cross-hatching pattern. And this will ensure that we don't miss any areas or leave any high spots. And butter wet wax only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to start curing to the surface, so by the time we're done with this half of the hood, it'll probably be about time to start buffing it off. As a final step for the paintwork on this vehicle, we're going to be using one of my favorite products, Speed Wipe. This is a quick detail spray that again just removes any light dust that we may have accumulated inside of the shop here, or more importantly, it's going to removing any areas we may have missed. But this is great for in between your car washes to remove water spots, bird droppings, and anything else that could have landed on the paintwork. Simply spray it directly onto body panels, headlights, glass, to just gently remove any kind of light foreign debris. And also included in the kit is these very plush microfiber towels, which are great for your quick detail sprays or removing any kind of waxes and polish. We recommend rolling the towel just to ensure that we're creating a new edge, so we're not grinding any abrasive particles into the finish, creating swirls and scratches. And by folding your towel into fours, you're not only getting more out of the towel, but you're also creating a plush barrier between your hand and the surface. This way you're not exerting excessive pressure, which could potentially damage the vehicle. We're just simply wiping off the spent quick detail spray. And you can use this as often as desired, but we recommend using this at the end of the detail just to ensure that nothing has been left behind. And it's also great for in between your car washes to keep your car looking its best for as long as possible. Now that we're on the interior of the vehicle, we're going to go around the cleaning and protection stage using InnerClean. And this is perfect for just picking up that light layer of dust or picking up any recent spills. And it's just a great way to maintain your already clean interior. So to control some overspray, we're going to spray directly onto a microfiber towel. And we'll start at the dashboard and work our way back. But again, this is great for just picking up light dust or body oils, because inside of the vehicle, especially when you drive with your windows open, you're always going to collect some kind of debris or some type of dust that just lands on the dashboard and looks awful. So this is going to clean it without changing the sheen, but more importantly, it's going to be adding a protective barrier against harmful UV rays. And this is going to prevent any kind of discoloration or staining. So you simply spray on, wipe off, and it leaves no residue behind. Just a simple crisp matte sheen, and it's protecting it against UV rays or harmful elements. And this is great for your vinyl, rubber, plastics, navigation screens, and even leather surfaces. So you can keep a bottle of InnerClean in the inside of your vehicle for light touch-ups, whether you have some spills or recent dust or anything that could have landed on the interior of your vehicle. This way you can keep your car looking factory fresh for as long as possible. Also, InnerClean is great for cleaning off your control surfaces, such as your steering wheel or your gear selector. This removes any kind of body oils that could potentially stain your leather or cause it to crack over time. It keeps it nice and crisp and smooth without adding any kind of residue that would make it slippery. But again, it's protecting that surface against harmful elements, so it's going to last as long as it can. As our last step for the detail on this Acura, we're going to go around the vehicle and dress all of the trim work, whether it's the inside or the outside. All of the vinyl, rubber, and plastic can be dressed using Silk Shine. And again, this is a water-based dressing that's safe for your interior and exterior plastic, vinyl, and rubber trim. And it's going to enhance a deeper gloss while also remaining dry to the touch, so it's not going to cling or attract any kind of dust or grime. It's just going to simply give you a deeper finish or repel any kind of harmful UV rays or any kind of harsh elements. And to start, we're just going to spray directly into another foam applicator pad. Start working it into the front valance here. And already you can see it gives it a darker finish. So this is going to help prevent any kind of discoloration, or on a lot of vehicles that start to turn kind of gray over time. This will prevent any kind of discoloration over years. And you can leave it as is or buff off any of the excess for a more natural finish. But again, you can use this on your interior, whether you have your dashboard, door panels, any kind of center console, or even your seats that are vinyl or rubber. This is great as a tire dressing just to add a little bit more gloss, but more importantly, you're protecting that finish. So guys, I'm going to finish off the rest of the vehicle, but in the meantime, you guys can check out the complete car care kit on our website, as well as in your local detail garage. If you liked today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, drop your comments down below for any future videos or anything else you guys want to talk about. We'll see you next time.